There are 5 simple adjustments that I can make to your setup that's going to give you more distance without even changing your swing. Here's what they are. The first one of the 5 is making sure that you grip the club in your fingers, not your palms. Let me show you the difference here. So a lot of golfers, when they grip the golf club, they put the club right in front of them like this, and then they bring their hand in front. And as they bring their hand in front, they naturally rotate it underneath, what positions it more into the palm. You can kind of see that right there. What I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and actually grip it on the side. So let me go ahead and change directions here. So when you grip the club on the side like this, it naturally falls more into your fingers. Now I gave this tip just the other day to Brad, one of our students, and I said, hey Brad, just grip it on the side, and as you do that, make sure that your lead thumb is kind of nice and tight right here, because he was really gripping it in his palm. He had no club head speed, really lacked a lot of distance. So when you grip the golf club, go ahead and just position it over here on the side and make sure that your thumb is nice and short. Now let me go ahead and do it here from this angle. I got my main man Nick behind the camera. So when you grip it here on the side, in the fingers, I bring it in front like that. How does that look there, Nick? Look pretty good? Does it look like it's in the fingers? All right, Nick gave me the thumbs up. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe, and hey, be sure to tell us where you're from. We love hearing where all these golfers are from around the world. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 has to do with your toes, all right? In general, the more rotation we have, the longer the backswing is, the further we're gonna hit the golf ball. Now that's assuming you hit it in the center of the face, and if you're following us here at US Golf TV and you're following the vertical line swing, you're probably hitting it in the center of the face, right? So a longer swing is gonna give you more distance. And when we take our toes and we flare them a little bit, that allows us to turn our hips more. If the hips turn more, the shoulders can turn more. If the shoulders can turn more, the club gets further behind. So let me go ahead and demonstrate. If my toes were like really pointed in like this, that's going to restrict my hip turn. Therefore, this is about all the longer backswing I can make without really putting some pressure on my back. Okay, that's why one of the cornerstones of the vertical line swing, okay, in the book, The Bad Lie, is to flare your toes, because when we flare the toes, I can turn the hips more, I can turn the shoulders more, I can make a longer backswing. All right, number 3 has to do with ball position. Now the driver, I've got my MaxVert 2 driver right here. The driver is the one club where every time we hit it, we want to hit it as the club is ascending, as the club is in an upward motion, right? That's why, we put it on a tee. So we want to position the ball slightly forward than we do with typical golf clubs, right? So I've got references. I've got buttons on my shirt. I've got a logo on my shirt. I've got the inside of my lead arm, right? So I might be wedges, 7-irons, things like that. Logo is going to be like a hybrid or 3-wood, driver off the inside of the lead arm. Now, how can you find that? Pretty simple. Go ahead and place your driver behind the golf ball. Put your feet together. Position the ball in the center of your heels, take a mini step towards the target, and then a nice big step away from the target. Okay? And I'm gonna give you a little secret tip here in just a second on this stance that will help you hit a nice high draw, because that will also give you more distance. So here we go. Feet together, ball in the center, mini step towards, big step away. Now, notice this. When I took that step away, when I took this trail foot step away, see if Nick was paying attention here. When I stepped away, you'll notice how I moved it just a little bit back. Did you see that? You see how I went back a little bit? Okay, Nick's nodding, good, all right. So what I did there is I slightly closed my stance. When we have a slightly closed stance with a club face that's square to the target line, that's gonna help us promote a nice high draw. All things being equal, a draw is gonna go longer than a fade. All right. Number 4 has to do with the handle. And then number 5 is my favorite one. I say that one to the end because it's my favorite. But number 4 has to do with the handle. When you're set in there, I want you to make sure that you take the handle and you just raise it ever so slightly this way. See that? So just up a little bit. Now, why would I do that, and why would I suggest that you do that? Well, when you take the handle and you raise it up a little bit, watch here. What happens to my shoulders? See how they tilt just a little bit? Boom, right? When I raise this, they tilt. And you remember when we talked about ball position, how we want to hit up on it? Okay, that's why I got the ball forward. Well, when my shoulders tilt a little bit, that promotes more of an inside out swing, i.e. draw, also promotes more of an upward motion, which is what we're looking for. Okay, so let's make sure when you're set in there, you take the handle and you just raise it a little bit so the butt end of the club is pointing maybe at your belt or slightly above your belt line, okay? Then you're gonna have it in a good spot. All right, number 5, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. Jack Nicklaus did this. I think Greg Norman did it. I don't know if anybody else is doing it. Maybe you could tell us if you've noticed other golfers doing this. Put it in the chat. It can help all of us learn something here. It's what we call the hover. The hover. The driver actually hovers when you're in your setup position. The driver just hovers off the ground. Everybody can kind of see that versus resting on the ground. Now, I want you to do that for 2 reasons, and it's going to help you pick up club head speed for 2 reasons. Number 1, remember how we talked about the driver's the only club every time you hit it, it's on a tee? Well, so we want the club to be off the ground. We're not hitting the ground, we're hitting the ball off a tee. So that will promote that type of psychology, that type of thought process for you. The second thing is that I found it really helps golfers swing more through the ball versus at the ball. If you're one of those golfers who's like, God, I almost decelerate at impact or I slow down, it's because you're swinging at the ball, not through the ball. All right, so I'm gonna tie these together. So here we go. I'm gripping it on the side so I get it in my fingers, okay? I'm going to flare my toes, all right, so I can rotate. I've got the ball forward off the inside of my lead arm. I'm gonna raise the handle. I'm gonna give it the hover. Oh man, Nick, I hope you got that one. All right, those 5 tips gave me some club head speed. Now that we've increased your club head speed, check out my next video. And if you want to personally work with us on your golf game like Brad did, check out vlscoaching.com.